perhaps he's primping. As I recall, Master Richard spent nearly half an hour admiring his reflection the first time he donned his cape.
Jason, get on out here or I'm going on patrol without you.
My word!
Gotcha!
Would've, if I hadn't seen you slip behind the computer banks 3 minutes ago.
Nah, I got you.
How does it feel?
Ha! 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 It feels awesome! Check me out! I'm Robin, the boy wonder! Are you kidding me? This rocks! Come on, old man. We've got bad guys who need chasing. This is the best day of my life.
Okay, everybody, this is Jason Horn with Longboxer, and we are back to doing 100 Bats, where I'm reviewing issues 400 through 500 of the Batman series, most of which came out in the 80s. So this is like my era of Batman. And this is our first post-year one issue. Most notably, this issue is going to be covering, for better or worse, the new origin of Jason Todd. As you can see here, he's stealing the wheels off the Batmobile. Before we get into this, let me tell you about my new comic book. It's called Settle. It's a sci-fi western comic. It's about a gruff old man named Malone who oversees like this team of robots that build colonies in deep space. And he has about a week left before he retires. And he's kind of dealing with some stuff. He has to kind of decide if his grief from his past is like clouding his judgment. When he sees the robots that he oversees, they start to want more than they're supposed to be programmed for. There's other stuff going on in there too, but that's the basics of it. It's on Patreon now, so Patreon/Jason Horn. I'll have a link in the description below if you want to check that out. But okay, Batman issue 408. Like I said, the retelling of Jason Todd's origin. So this is written by Max Allan Collins. I think that's right. Yeah, Max Allan Collins, and so this is a returning writer. So he wrote some of the issues earlier before year one, and now he's back. And this is drawn by Chris Warner. I'm not super familiar with Chris Warner. I think he's most known for Dark Horse stuff, like Aliens, Predator, Terminator, that kind of stuff. But I'm not super familiar with him. But this issue, I think most people are familiar, at least with the setup of this issue. But it starts here. So this is a flashback, and the title of the story is Did Robin Die Tonight? Which is kind of a thing I didn't really remember about this issue. I'll get to it in a second. So it starts off, Batman's after the Joker. The Joker has stolen this like smiling diamond necklace, and this is Dick Grayson. It's not Jason Todd yet. So this is this is the Joker doing something in my mind that, like, you know, it just comes out of left field. I think they just had to find a reason that Dick Grayson stepped down as being Robin, and it's weird. So that had already happened in the comics. So this is post-Crisis, so they're relaunching this, you know, the continuity stuff. But in the issues before, like years before this, so I think this is, the year here is 80, what is it? 87, yeah. So like years ago, Grayson had stopped being Robin and had become Nightwing. And that happened like back, like I said, years ago in New Teen Titans. This is like the issue where like Kid Flash retires, and Dick Grayson doesn't retire, but he retires the Robin persona. So like this is back in like 84. And then also in 84 is when Dick had become Nightwing. So up until this issue, I guess we didn't know if that was still going to be the continuity or not. But they hint to Nightwing in this here in a second. I'll show you. But what happens is, out of nowhere, Joker shoots Dick Grayson Robin in the arm, just kind of like, you know, through the shoulder. But what happens in the story is the media kind of picks up this story that Robin died. Like they think, because there's like a news copter that's filming this, and Batman is like holding his body. and they think that like, oh, did Robin die tonight? And so, and then Bruce kind of like makes the decision to let that be the case. It doesn't really go into why all of a sudden he's like, I guess he feels guilty that he got shot or something. I don't know. But Bruce is like willing to let the media think that he did die. And then Dick is like, well, maybe I should just stop being Robin. And this is like a little hint at the Nightwing situation, which, like I said, I guess this is like a flashback to years ago. So this is like the new leading up to Nightwing. This is how it happened in the new post-crisis continuity. All right. So that's the initial setup for this. And even Gordon's like, did Robin die? What's going on? So then like Bruce is out. I think that's Vicky Vale. Is that right? I don't know. I don't remember. I guess it didn't matter much. Yeah, it is Vicky Vale. Okay. Usually if I see a lady that looks like that in these comics, it's going to be Vicky Vale. So he's out with Vicky Vale, and the only real important thing here is that some of these kids, these teenagers, and you can tell they're rough teenagers because he has a cowboy hat on, and this guy has a ball cap, and they're like picking pockets, and that'll come into the story later. And then Bruce just like goes to town on these kids, but then he has to like, he realizes he can't look too good, so he takes a few punches, but he did save the guy's wallet. I thought that was pretty funny. And so so what happens in this story is they're talking about Crime Alley, and like Bruce has gone out and cleaned up all the crime on the anniversary in Crime Alley on the anniversary of his parents' murder, so much so that there's like no crime. That's one of the things they talk about. Like there's no crime going on that night because all the people on the street have realized this. And then they talk a little bit about this lady, which is ridiculous. There's like this lady who takes in like homeless kids or whatever. Who have nowhere else to go, and we'll get more to her later. But, alright, so Batman's out on a patrol, and it does a little flashback to just the previous issues for year one. This might be like the first time like someone else had adopted the look of that origin. I mean, that literally just happened a few issues ago. But like, you know, you see this kind of thing all the time now, but this is probably the first time, like with the street lamp and the circle lighting, all that kind of stuff, that someone else is picking that up. And it would be repeated many times, like I said. So he goes to the old lady. Her name is Ma Gunn, but her name is Faye Gunn, which is it's a ridiculous kind of play on words of the Oliver Twist character Fagin, and I'll get into that why that's her name later. I don't want to spoil anything because it's so good. Not really. Oh, these guys. So then he kind of has a little chat with her. This is a really good. I haven't read this in a long time. I don't remember if it holds up, but I remember really liking that issue. It's an Alan Moore story, and there's Brayfogle in there as well. But it's a really weird Alan Moore Clayface story in that '87 annual. But anyway, so Batman gets to the Batmobile. The tires are gone, and then we're introduced to who did it is Jason Todd. So, like I said, this is reintroducing a new origin story for Jason Todd. When I was a kid, all I knew was Dick Grayson. I didn't know what was going on with this new Robin until I picked up issue 416 of Batman. This is one of my favorite covers that's in this run of 400 through 500. It's Jim Aparo, inked by Bill Sienkiewicz, and I love that combination. And this was my first issue, I think. I'm pretty sure my first issue with Jason Todd. So, or maybe I had one other issue where I just saw someone called Robin Jason, and I freaked out. That's my name. I'm Jason. So I was like, what's going on? I just had no idea. So this is pre-internet days when you just couldn't find out stuff like that. And in this issue, so this is, like I said, 416, so it's a few issues after this. But it has a flashback to the issue we're reading now. It shows, so Dick Grayson confronts Bruce, and it shows it's a flashback to what we just saw here. So this was the first time I figured it out, like what had happened. Because I had no idea who Jason Todd was. I had no idea why they were calling Robin Jason. It really was weird, but I loved it. But we'll get to this issue. This is probably one of my favorite issues. Again, I don't remember if it holds up, but But anyways, it's a cool issue. Only the cover is inked by Sienkiewicz, though. It's a shame he didn't do the whole issue. He did do whole issues later that Aparo would draw. I don't know if they're in this run or if they're in Detective, but that does happen later. But anyway, as far as the new origin goes for Jason Todd, if you're interested, I was going to go briefly into the origin that came before this. And part of that, I don't have a ton of those first issues that he was in, but some of his origin kind of stuff is in this issue. This is the issue, so this is Detective Anniversary issue 526. This is the issue where pre-crisis, Jason Todd figures out that Bruce Wayne is Batman and kind of dons a Robin costume for the first time. It's not exactly the Robin costume. This is one of the cool issues where the whole Rogues Gallery gets together. Like Joker, I think it's Joker has brought everybody in to go against Batman. I mean, this is I think there are villains in here I can't even name. Like, I don't know who that guy is. It looks like the Spectre, but I'm sure that's not the Spectre. I guess I know who everyone else is. If that's Talia. I assume that's Talia. Even Tweedledee, Tweedledum. Some pretty obscure Catman. I think that's the Tarantula, is that right? The Cavalier. Some crazy obscure ones. So anyway, Joker gets everybody together. I think it is Talia. And then Catwoman decide not to do that. They kind of team up and he has to break them up. But anyway, like I said, getting to Jason Todd. So the original origin of Jason Todd was that he was a part of a circus family. His mom and dad were circus performers who were inspired by the Graysons, the Flying Graysons, and so they were part of that circus that Grayson's parents used to be part of. So he's a circus performer, and I think that's part of the reason they relaunched the origin, because it's so similar to Dick Grayson. I think they wanted to do something that would stick out and be a little bit different. So anyway, Jason Todd sees like something behind the clock, and then so this is Jason Todd. He had red hair back then, and when he would be Robin in these pre-crisis issues, he would wear a wig or dye his hair or something. But he had red hair originally, so he just stumbles into the Batcave and realizes that Bruce is Batman, which is nuts. And then there's other crazy. So a lot of Jason Todd's origin was tied to Killer Croc, and this is him here. And he was his parent. He was like doing something where he was like doing extortion or something with the circus. I don't know. But Jason Todd's parents like found out about it, and dude, like Killer Croc just murders them and like feeds them to alligators, and maybe he even ate part of them. I don't know. It's crazy. But anyway, so this is the first time. So he just finds a trunk full of costumes. Jason Todd does, and this is the first time Jason Todd wears a costume. It's not the first time he wears the Robin costume, but this is Dick Grayson's Flying Grayson costume. And this is the first issue. There's a lot of I was thinking about this. There are a lot of key issues for Jason Todd, because there's his first appearance. His first appearance where he wears a costume, his first appearance where he wears the Robin costume, and then you start all these keys over again, where the post-crisis, where, it's his first appearance again, his origin again, he wears the costume for the first time, he officially becomes Robin, he dies, he has more key issues, I think, than any other Bat Family member. But anyways, so this is the first time he wears a Robin costume, and he kind of saves the day. This is him here. I kind of like this costume. It's interesting. It's kind of goofy in the 80s, but I kind of dig it. So he learns that his parents were dead, and his parents, and then Bruce, I think, takes him on as a ward at the end of this issue. So there's that. That was the original origin. But like I said, so this is the first issue pre-crisis. This is the first one where I think he officially becomes Robin. Or it's the first one with him in the real Robin costume. Man, I can't even remember. There's this issue. I think this is another key one. I think this is the one where he officially becomes Robin. I don't know. And this is the issue where he dies, obviously, and then the later years when he comes back. And I think this one's like worth a bunch of money now, which is funny because I got that out of a cheap bin because I wasn't even reading Batman back then. And I think the first time that I ever heard about Nightwing was actually, of all places, here. These were like cards that were inserted into these packs of like 3 packs of comics back in the day. And this was actually the way that I first got some of my first Batman comics, were in these like 3 packs that I would get at Walmart. But this is when I first saw like Nightwing. I was like, I don't know who that is. And then, you know, it tells about how Dick Grayson became Nightwing. So that was kind of my first indication of that had even happened. Like I said, this is like pre-internet days. So this is how you would find stuff like that out.
I thought we had the same goals.
Things change. I changed. The game's over, Batman. I quit.
Robin, wait.
And so in this issue, this is where he officially wears the Robin costume and becomes Robin for the first time. So if we crack this open, I think it kind of picks up where the other left off with him wearing like the Flying Grayson's costume. And this issue is like, most of this issue is like a really like Bat family centered issue about Dick Grayson like passing on the baton of Robin. But also there's this stuff with Crazy Quilt, which is kind of like an older school kind of villain, and he's like, he doesn't know that Dick Grayson is stepping down as Robin, and he's like super mad at Robin because Robin had blinded him, which is actually like a storyline that was picked up on in an episode of Batman Brave and the Bold.
I guess Crazy Quilt finally saw the light, Batman.
Yes, Robin. He's learned the hard way that justice is blind.
But anyway, so the Crazy Quilt stuff aside, Jason Todd is essentially trying to figure out what to call himself. That's what the first page is about. Like he says, you know, Wonder Boy, Blue Jay, Cardinal. But then Dick Grayson shows up and says, you should just be Robin. And so he officially gets the Robin costume, and this telling of this passing of the torch includes Batman, and it is kind of like it's kind of a better way to do it, as opposed to that Batman 216 where it seems like I think Dick Grayson just kind of like realizes that Batman did it without him, and he's cool with it and everything, and he has a talk with him and gives him his old costume in that 216 issue with the post-crisis. But this pre-crisis one is a little better, I think. But anyway, so this is a pretty good little issue. It focuses a lot on what it means to be Robin and what it means to to team up with Batman. It's kind of atypical. It doesn't really, I mean, there is like a villain that they beat up and stuff, like a normal issue, but it focuses a lot on kind of like bigger things than most issues do anyway. But then at the end he fights Crazy Quilt and Batman thinks he's dead. It goes so bad. And then that's concluded in like another, like I think the next issue of Detective or something. Alright, so getting back to this. Where were we? So, Jason Todd is some street thug who has not only taken the wheels off the Batmobile, but he literally goes after Batman, hitting him in the ribs with a crowbar. Batman follows him back to where he's staying, where he has posters of Poison Idea. This guy's he's a bad kid. A lot of people love or hate Jason Todd. I don't really have strong feelings one way or the other, actually. I think it's, I've always thought that it added an interesting element to Batman to have lost a sidekick, and to have now the Red Hood element in the current comics, which I don't read a ton of, but it adds something to it, and I've always appreciated that. I've never loved or hated that they killed him or brought him back. It just is what it is. I've never had super strong feelings. Like I said, though, when I was a kid, I did love that there was a Robin named Jason. But then a few years after that, he's killed. So what we find at the end of the issue is this Fagin lady, Faye Gunn. Like I said, her name is from Oliver Twist. So in that story, Oliver Twist, there's this character who teaches kids how to be pickpockets, and it turns out she's not just like taking in homeless kids because she's nice, she's doing it because she's the one who taught the guys from earlier who were pickpockets to be bad guys. She's the head of this gang, and you know she's evil because she's smoking. Old lady smoking. You don't see that in comics anymore. So so Batman takes Jason Todd to this lady, and that's where we end here. To be continued. The next issue, we'll see exactly what happens here. All right, well that does it for issue 408. Issue 409 I'll be doing next. I guess we get more of this Faye Gunn lady and more Jason Todd stuff. So thanks for watching. Share this video if you dug it. Check out my Patreon at patreon.com/JasonHorn to read Settle. It's $1 a month for 1 page a week. Thank you.